All right, let's jump right in. We're going to talk about how one of the oldest, grittiest industries out there, we're talking construction waste, is getting a complete overhaul with some seriously sophisticated tech. This is really a story about turning total physical chaos into clean digital gold. But here's the thing, we're not starting this story in some sterile, air-conditioned server farm. Nope. We're starting right here at a resource recovery center in Hamilton, Ontario. So forget clean rooms, think mud, the smell of diesel, and the sound of heavy machinery. It is the absolute last place you'd expect a high-tech revolution to be kicking off. And this slide, it pretty much sums up the entire story. On the one side, you've got the physical reality, just messy, unpredictable, and frankly, a liability. But on the other side, you have the digital potential, structured, verifiable, and valuable data. The company at the heart of this, 95 Wood, has built a bridge between these two worlds, and they call that bridge a digital refinery. So what problem is this digital refinery actually solving? Well, it's a problem the founder has a great name for: data anarchy. It's the complete and utter chaos that has defined the waste industry for, well, forever. You can see here how these seemingly small things just snowball into massive problems. You've got handwritten receipts you can barely read, missing paperwork, and my favorite, vague descriptions like 1 bin of wood. That's totally useless data. And worse, without a real chain of custody, if just one single piece of arsenic-treating wood gets mixed in, the entire load, we're talking tons of material, is contaminated and has to go straight to a landfill. That's a huge loss, both financially and for the environment. So how do you fight data anarchy? You need a system that gives you operational truth. And that's where the 95 Wood platform comes in. This isn't just some new app for truckers. No, it's a whole new industrial software stack, designed from the ground up to refine that waste into a high-purity, high-value asset. And this part is absolutely crucial. This kind of sophisticated software can't just live up in the cloud. It has to work at the edge, meaning right there in the mud, on the job site, often in places with terrible Wi-Fi. It runs on powerful, modern smartphones, phones with chips specifically built for AI, so it can make critical decisions instantly, on-site without needing a perfect internet connection. Okay, so how does this actually work in practice? Let's follow a load of old, discarded wood as it makes its way into this digital refinery and see exactly how AI turns it into something valuable. The whole system uses a really smart two-step process. First, at what they call the compliance gate, an AI running right on the device makes a super fast initial call. Then, in step 2, the system takes that data and maps it against specific legal regulations from Ontario's Environmental Authority. This ensures every single decision is totally compliant. Let's break that down a bit more. That first step is only possible because of a clever process called quantization. So what is that? Well, think of it like taking a giant genius AI model and creating a highly skilled summary of it. You might lose a tiny bit of precision, but what you gain is incredible speed and efficiency. It's what allows a powerful AI to run directly on the phone in a driver's hand. And this is the trade-off, right? You don't need a massive supercomputer to tell the difference between a piece of wood and a brick. What you need is an AI that's good enough, incredibly fast, and most importantly, works offline. And that is exactly what quantization delivers for that initial compliance check. Now we're getting to the most important question for any industrial AI system. A wrong decision here has real-world financial consequences. I mean, if the AI rejects a perfectly good load of wood, you lose money. If it accepts a contaminated one, you could be facing huge fines. So how do you build trust in the system? The answer is something they call explainable compliance. See, the system doesn't just give you a simple thumbs up or thumbs down. It uses a technology called Retrieval Augmented Generation, or RAG, which lets it search its own internal library of environmental laws, specifically Ontario Regulation 347. So it doesn't just make a decision, it cites the specific rule that applies. This anchors the AI's decision in legal fact, which is key to preventing errors or what we call AI hallucinations. And here's a perfect example of what that looks like. A load isn't just rejected. It's rejected with a crystal clear, auditable reason, pointing to the exact legal threshold for arsenic straight from the government's own rulebook. Now, that is how you build trust with customers and regulators alike. So we have this unbelievably smart, trustworthy system. But what's the end game? What does all this incredible technology actually create? It creates proof. And that proof is what transforms a waste liability into a really valuable asset.
See, to be sold into the high-value biocarbon market, this wood can't just be clean. It has to meet precise manufacturing-grade standards. The first one is a contamination level of less than 1%.
And the second is a moisture content below 10%. The whole digital refinery is designed specifically to verify and then certify that every single load hits both of these critical targets, every single time. All of this verification gets wrapped up into one final product, an immutable digital diversion certificate. And this is so much more than a receipt. It's like a digital passport for that load of wood. It's got the GPS coordinates of where it came from, the AI's purity verification, and proof of its final destination. This single document is the key that unlocks access to those high-value markets and even generates valuable carbon credits. Now, when you zoom out from all this, you realize it's about so much more than just one company or one pile of wood. This is literally a blueprint for a new kind of circular economy. By creating a trusted, verifiable supply chain for something that we all used to just think of as garbage, this system is helping to build a brand new, technology-driven bioeconomy right here in Ontario. It's truly turning an environmental problem into a massive industrial opportunity. You know, this quote from the project's architect just perfectly captures the spirit of this whole thing. It's really a call to action for all the engineers and builders out there to think bigger, to use technology not just to make things a little bit better, but to fundamentally lead entire industries into a more efficient and more sustainable future. And that leaves us with a final question to think about. We've seen how this model works for waste wood, but what about all the agricultural waste out there? Old textiles? Shredded plastic? What other messy physical industries are sitting on a goldmine of data, just waiting for their own digital refinery to come along and unlock it?